Hey guys, this is part 2 of my ATOTO A6Y Pro review. This is installed in the car a few days after my last review. I just want to show you some features of it, show you how it looks in the car, and in general how happy I am after almost a week of using it. The screen you see now is one of the many optional Car Web Guru launcher screens. This is a new one. There's that, and then you have the factory launcher, which I've already showed you in the other video. We won't go over that too much. But I want to show you a few things in action. First off, put the car in reverse. Nice clear reverse camera. I do need to get a noise filter on here. This is not a problem with ATOTO's camera or the head unit. It's just the way I got my car wired. I've got it directly to the reverse light. It needs a little more voltage to get rid of some of that. It's not really snow, but a little bit of flicker. Once I get a noise filter on there, it should be fine. And as you can see, it triggers very quickly from forward to reverse, and there's my car. Chime's going off. The other thing I want to show you is the ATOTO dash cam, which is here behind the rearview mirror. This is a nice unit. It hooks to the USB port on the back, and it just works fine. Let me show you in action. I've got it mapped here to this DVR function. And there she goes. Nice clear picture. You can see what I can see. It's a little bit wider angle. You can set this up to start recording as soon as the unit turns on. You can set it to do 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And what it'll do is it'll record a 3-minute loop and then start recording over that. And it needs to be, you'd have a SD card in there, so it has some place to store the video. The quality is very good. And the camera mount itself is adjustable. You can hear it click in. Those are discrete clicks. I can actually bring it all the way around, do a full 360. So your mounting options are pretty good. This comes some very good genuine 3M adhesive. I had to test fit that 3 or 4 times to get it to work where I wanted it to get past these little black spots and clear, so I had an unobstructed view. So I actually stuck it up there and pulled it off several times, and then when I finally got it where I wanted it, I pushed it on hard, and it's held up ever since. That's been on there since January. This is now mid-July. So I'm pretty happy with this unit. And let's go back. And I want to show you that in the car, the gesture controls do work. Well, so there's music playing. Hang on a second. There we go. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple gestures that work great, but unfortunately, with the way my shifter is so close to the head unit, the move down, which I like to use for track forward and back, up and down, gets triggered really easily when I'm just doing this from the car to the wheel, and that's just a part of my car. Well, that trigger is easy too. But the thing is, you can turn all these on or off, or adjust them to features any way you like. So, but I like having the volume control on the mute or pause. It's just very handy. And it's just a cool party trick. You just do your thing. I'm also using a Pack Audio SW1-RC steering wheel control adapter with this car, and it works just fine. I've got volume up, volume down. I've mapped this to track forward, and I mapped this to play pause instead of track back, just because it's something I don't go back very often. I just want to skip forward a lot, and being able to pause is handy. Drive-throughs or a phone call comes in or something. And then I've got this voice activation key mapped to Google. Hey Google, what time is it? Navigate me to the nearest McDonald's.
Sure, McDonald's.
As you can see, the mics work well. I've got, of course, it's the onboard mic on the unit, and up here I've got another, the external mic they provide installed. Also up here on, you just barely see it, there's my Wi-Fi antenna, and I've got the wiring run down, and over here in this pillar is where I have the GPS antenna mounted. And Google's taking this time to load here. As you can see,
head south on Cook Road toward Dean Street, then turn left onto Dean Street.
I have 11 out of 14 satellites, 12 out of 14 satellites visible right now. I'm under a tree in Central Florida. So the GPS reception is excellent in this unit with this particular antenna. I also want to point out I'm Wi-Fi or Bluetooth paired with the phone I'm actually shooting this video on to the ATOTO unit, and you'll see here a battery and a signal strength. That's my phone's battery and my phone's signal strength. So the newer units, the newer firmware shows you your connected phone's goodies. Some other nice features. Overall, just, it's a standard Android head unit, so it does everything an Android head unit could do. I will say that the sound quality on this unit is definitely better than the old A6 unit. It's got a better preamp in it, better fidelity. I can definitely hear the difference. I know that's really subjective, but I can definitely hear a difference. It's better quality. I don't have to have the volume up quite so loud to get the same sound level, and it's just cleaner, less distorted. The EQ presets work just like they always did. It's just a good solid quality unit. It's not quite on par with like the mid-range Pioneer unit I had in this car before, but it's awful close. And with a good amp and good speakers, you should be very happy with the sound of this. Display is also much better. As you can see, the viewing angles are excellent. I mean, that's almost clearly the side. Nothing fades out, nothing washes out. The colors don't change from any angle. It's very bright. It auto dims if I turn the lights on. Well, actually the dash lights have to come on. Let me turn the hand over the sensor for the dash lights. As soon as the dash lights come on, this should dim. There it goes. Dash lights just turned on, as you can see over there, and this dimmed. Now if I remove this, give it a second, the car say, wait a minute, it's not night out. You'll turn the dash lights off. Wait for it. Now, this is not the ATOTO delay. This is the General Motors. I think it's daylight still delay. There we go. Turn the headlights off, and it brightens right back up. That's a nice feature. This thing is so bright that if you don't, have the auto dimming, you'll definitely be wanting to dim it anyway, because at nighttime it lights up the whole cabin. But you put it down to the slowest setting, it's just about right. It's almost a perfect match for the dash lights. Doesn't bother you at all, and still quite visible. Other things I like about it: the front panel aux control is handy. You got friends come by, don't have Bluetooth, or you just want to plug something in just to test it. The SD card slot where it's located now makes it much easier to get the SD card in and out. Before, it was at the very bottom and right up against the edge, so a couple times I had to go fish the SD card out. Oops. Gesture controls were there. A couple times I had to go fish the SD card out where I dropped it down here, trying to take it out and take it to the house, put new songs on it or whatever. This does handle a 256 gigabyte SD card just fine. That's a whole lot of capacity, probably more than most people will need. Even with DVR running full time, storage shouldn't be an issue. As you can see, this faceplate, this is a Scoshi mounting kit for a GM, and I kind of showed you the other video, but here it is actually installed in the car. There's almost no gap, or no more than you can see anywhere else. It fits nice and flush. It actually fits better to the radio than it does to the car. The car isn't that bad. What else I like about this? Oh, performance. The installation times. With the old unit, you could download an app from the App Store and update, like say Google Maps updated. It might be 30 megabytes. It would download fairly quickly because of a good Wi-Fi connection. But then it would spend another 2, 3, 5, sometimes as long as 10 minutes updating, installing the program, it would say. With this new unit, I think they're running faster RAM, even though it's the same system on chip, or same processor, the same MediaTek 1.5 gigahertz quad core. Something they've done makes it much faster, because now when I get an update from the Play Store, it downloads quickly and then it installs quickly, almost as fast as my phone. So I was really happy with that. Nice improvement, especially if you don't update your programs regularly. You come back, you get a list of 30 30 apps that need to be updated. You don't want to sit in the car for an hour waiting, wait for it to finish. And what else is cool? Okay, the external USB cables that connect to the back, I've got them run into a nice USB adapter here. I've got my top one is my data, and my bottom one is my up to 2 amp fast charge. I don't use it that often. That's more for friends. I've got an actual power delivery charger here that runs really fast, and I've got that paired to my Essential phone, which is a power delivery, which is the same as like a Google Pixel, but also use power delivery. But that said, this will charge this phone still fairly rapidly. So I showed you the backup or the front camera, showed you the backup camera in action. Talked about call quality is good. Once again, the 2 microphones help. One thing you're probably going to want to do, screensaver just kicked on there. One of the things you're probably going to want to do, oh, and I'm going to show you this too. This is their default notification screen. You can always get to that from any screen. You can always get to that from any screen. And you've got all your basic settings here, plus your notification tray. Shows me what's playing, my navigation. If I go to settings, and I go down to about device, and where it says model number A6 Pro, tap that 4 times, you'll get another screen comes up. You want the password. The password is 1238. Okay. And this is your microphone sensitivity. Now, this makes a huge difference. By default, it's set at 4. You want to get up and run 6 or 7. That way, it'll pick up your voice commands. Your call quality is better. It's just basically upping the gain on the microphones. 4 is too low, at least for my car and my voice. 6 or 7 works about great. You get up to about 8 or 9, it starts getting a little over boosted, and callers can hear the difference. It's not as good. So 6 or 7 is about where you want it. And then once you set that, you just back out. You're done. You only got to do this once. It remembers it, and it's fine. Also, want to show that I'm running ATOTO 9.4.1. That's the latest firmware as of shooting this video on July 14th. Expect more firmware updates. They're pretty good about this. Every couple months, they'll come out with a firmware update to address issues or add features. They don't have the automatic system update anymore. The older unit would actually check to see if there's an update. Now you got to do it to their website and load it to an SD card. They had some problems with people bad connections and things like that, where the over-the-air update could cause issues, and I don't blame them. I think having an SD card update is probably superior, as long as you know that the updates are coming. That's fine. You can check those out on ATOTO's website. Their website's pretty comprehensive and getting better. There's a little bit of a language barrier, but they're doing a good job for the most part. Some other things I've set up. You have what they call default settings. This is all the ATOTO specific stuff for the car. So your nav app selection, maps, your voice command, what happens when you trigger voice command. In this case, I have it set to voice search. You can have it do anything you want, actually. Steering wheel program is actually pretty cool. As you can see here, I've got volume up and down, play, pause, fast forward, and voice command with these 5 buttons that I have. If you have more buttons, you get more features. I do wish they'd let you do double presses or multiple presses on the buttons, but this is still pretty good. Video watching prohibition, you can turn this on so if the park brake isn't on, you can't watch videos. Image reverse for rear camera. If I turn this on, put it in reverse, look at the orientation. The stop sign is off to my right here, at the edge of that, and we have trees and a power or a utility manhole on my left. If I go back and flip it, utility manholes on the other side, stop signs on the other. This is just like a backup camera. You can see everything's reversed. This is more natural for most people. So this is the way I would recommend doing it. Reverse mute switch. Oddly enough, if you have this on this position, let's get a little audio going here. So you can see it automatically mutes it when I put it in reverse. Doesn't kill it, but it lowers the volume. If I do that, volume doesn't drop. So just remember that it's reversed, but still very handy. Put it in reverse, you know you're in reverse. You pay attention to what you're doing when you're backing up. Let's go real quick into gesture controls here. Hang on. Now, this is the gesture control setup screen. I showed you this earlier, but as you can see, I've only got 3 of them hooked up right now, just because if I use this one, which is really nice for advancing tracks, it is very, very easy to set off. Let's go. So see, right now we're playing Gone, Pearl Jam, Something from Nothing. The problem is, see, I'm just moving my hand down to grab the shifter, and it's changing tracks. So just be careful of that. And like I said, some cars it won't matter. The head unit may be further up or out of the way, which is why they give the ability to disable the commands if you want. Now the volume control, that's a pretty deliberate motion. That's not something you get confused with very often, so I'll leave that in place. And the wave is pretty much hard to mess up. The up and down and the forward and back on this particular head unit, just because my hands are so close in this particular car, I had to disable. But I think it's still a pretty cool feature, and you know, in a lot of mounting locations it won't be a problem at all. Head unit, a lot of cars are, you know, further up into the front and out of your hands, out of the way of your hands for most of the part. You have to go up and deliberately do stuff. So I think they did a good job with it. That's about it, guys. I said I've been running this. Today is Saturday. I got this on Monday. I've been running it all week. I installed it that day, and have had no major issues. It's definitely a huge improvement over the old unit, which I was pretty happy with. Looks good, sounds good, does everything I wanted to do, and then some. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the ATOTO launcher, but that's the beauty of Android. You don't like the launcher, get something else. Yeah, let's see, what else does it do that I've not covered? And that's about, oh yeah, I want to show you torque. Torque works pretty good in this. Give it a second to fire up. It's connecting. And any second now. Yep, it's connected. There we go. I've got all my basics. And this is instantly customizable. You can put any gauges you want in here. You can change themes on how the gauges look. In my case, I got RPM, speed, coolant temperature, intake temperature, battery voltage, instant miles per gallon, engine load. You know, and it's fairly responsive. If I give it gas, you can see it keeps up with it. Engine load, all that. So anyway, just to let you know that torque works. This is Torque Pro, comes installed. I'm using a generic Panlong Elm OBD2 adapter. You don't need to use a TOTO one, although they make a nice one and it's nice and black. This one's ugly. It just does everything that you expect out of an Android head unit. A lot of people are kind of worried about you know, being Android 6 when, you know, Android 8's out and Android 9's about to come out. Don't be worried about that. 6 is nice and stable. Nice and stable. ATOTO's had a couple years to work on their firmware based around Android 6, and most of the features that you're not getting, or most of the features that are in 7 and 8 and 9, really don't apply too much for, you know, head units and tablets. It's mostly phone features, some more Google Now customizations, things like that that you don't really need in the tablet or the head unit. And every time they, you know, update an Android version, things start breaking. It takes them 6 months to a year to, you know, fix all the firmware software that was written for the previous versions. You don't have that problem with this. So don't worry about Android 6, and I guarantee you that, you know, eventually they'll have Android 7 or Android 8 if they need it. But this is still a very modern version of Android, and just about all apps will run in it. Just about all launchers will run in it. So don't worry about that. Anyway, guys, this is going on about 20 minutes now. It's probably longer than it needed to be by about 15. Feel free to, you know, leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. Take care, guys. Bye.